Hello, all you wonderful, wonderful, wonderful people. Welcome to today's vlog. Um, so today I want to talk about something a little bit special for me. A passion project, if you will. Um, so to put it clearly, I want to write a book. Um, I've had a story in mind for that's kind of been building for the last decade or so, I would say. It was never always a book kind of formatted story. What this inspiration comes from is I wanted a sequel to a specific video game. Um, and well, that sequel never really came out. So after a while, I got to thinking, what would I want in a sequel to this video game? Because I just love the kind of, although not deeply, it wasn't deep world building, but I loved the setting of this world. There was a lot of stuff to like play with. Um, so I just got to thinking, if I was to ever design a video game, what would I put in this video game? How would I do a sequel to this game? And yeah, that's initially what it started as. Um, but after a while, of course, it takes quite a bit of money to, say, design a game. And although there's like a million ideas out there, yeah, we have my cat popping in. Um, although there is like a million ideas out there, there's a lot of million ideas that just never get noticed. So, which is a shame, but it's just the way things are. But yeah, so anyways, I've been thinking about, I don't know, just things involving how can I now move these thoughts of designing what I would do for this sequel to a video game. How would I move it to a book story? And of course, keep it original and such. Because, but yeah, that is what the inspiration of this story stems from. Um, I can tell you it's gonna be sci fi. That's gonna be its main genre. But I'm gonna do a little bit of mismatch in genre. Um, something I'm trying to think of how much I actually want to say before I actually, because currently I have not started writing yet. Um, I have a I have a deep enough premise in my mind about the story, but I have not actually started writing it yet. So part of this is I'm hoping if I put this out there, it's gonna click a switch in my brain to constantly keep you guys updated. Maybe maybe just to add another kind of content to this channel, maybe I start to become a booktuber. I don't know. Yeah. But yeah. And now I guess I kind of want to dive into what kind of current writing skill do I actually have. That's always been the thing kind of holding me back a little bit, because when it comes to just grammar in general, I'm pretty horrible. um, but yeah, so it was kind of a back and forth not argument, but back and forth kind of discussion in my mind where could I actually do this and actually make something of it? I have watched a lot of, at least I think they're called booktubers, but basically a lot of authors that have their own YouTube channel, and a lot of times they make like the do's and don'ts of writing and stuff like that. And I tried to listen to a fair different amount just so I don't just have one person's perspective with how they do things. And honestly, at this point, I think it is highly possible that I can write a book. It might take 3, 4, 5 drafts, but I guess that's the grind you go for when it comes to writing something that is worth publishing. Um, I've already kind of decided that I kind of want to go down the self publishing route just because this is not so much about jumpstarting a career. If something comes from it, cool, but this is more specifically about bringing a story I want to put out into this world. And I could go the fan fiction route, but I don't know. I personally want to put something out there that, I don't know, that people just. Because when you post stuff online, well, actually, that's not a really good excuse. I guess think I guess I just think that it would be cool to just, if even one person wants to go out and buy my story, my book, and sit it on their personal bookshelf next to these other great books that they enjoy reading, then I think that alone is kind of worth pursuing the passion. Um, I know that sounds kind of very cliche and kind of and such, but maybe cliche is not the right word, but yeah, it sounds very, um, I don't know. But, anyways, so I got a little bit off track. I was trying to go into where my personal like writing skill. So I don't really have a whole lot to my actual skill. I do have a little, but it's very much just a tad bit. So I did write a fan fiction when I was like 13 or something, uh, using Super Smash Brothers Melee as a base of the fan fiction. Um, it was horrible. um, it was written more in line of like a script than it was an actual story, but where I really got to learn a bit more just about doing is when I would start role playing on message boards. Um, in particular, this was role playing in the role play setting was um, a wrestling promotion. Um, they called these uh, e-feds or um, e-federations, but yeah, basically you join a group of people and you role play promos against each other. And essentially, who puts up the best promos for that specific week against your opponent, um, you essentially would be judged on how well your promo was written, and that is what would be the judging factor as if you won your wrestling match or not. So I did that for like years. Like I had fun with that. I wasn't the best writer, but when I got into the mindset, I got at least two and very rarely three like promo role plays of like 3 to 5,000 word promos in 1 week. So whenever I got my mindset into that mindset, it just kind of flowed out. Um, and of course, I learned a little bit more about writing actions over being more of a script like format. Now, I did use some of the script format just to like it was easy to show like who was talking and such like that. And so I will, like I said, I've been doing a lot of like listening to writing YouTubers and stuff. And so take my hand at trying to um, upgrade that into more of what a book format would be like. But yeah, so as far as writing skill, that is kind of where I am at personally right now. This is going to be like a big major writing project that I've had in some time because I don't write scripts for my videos. I speak purely from like just freestyle and just turn on the camera and go. So now, if I want to write a book, then I must be a heavy reader, right? Um, that's really not so much the case either. Um, I've read a book here and there growing up, but up until a couple of years ago, I read through my first book series, um, which is these books. It is This is considered a Seven Realms um, series. It's written by Cinda Williams Shima. You got the Demon King, which is the first book, the Exile Queen, the Grey Wolf Throne, and the Crimson Crown. Now, that is pretty much, very much like a fantasy series. Um, Mixed with elements of like Harry Potter and stuff like that. So, I really enjoyed it actually. Obviously, I mean, I kept reading through the entire book series. But when it comes to book reading, I I have some books that I need to read, but it's just picking up a book is kind of hard for me. If I was doing this for more along the lines of trying to start a career as an author, it would definitely be smart to like be more of a heavy reader and research different ways authors read books. Or not read books, but authors write books. Yeah. But this is going to be purely a passion project. So my first my first and most of my goal is to just get my story out there, get it written and rewritten until it is good enough to publish, and then it will be so exciting for that day when I'm able to actually bring this specific story to you guys. Um, I would love to keep you guys updated for this project on this channel, along with all the other stuff I'm doing. So, and more so, I hope my I'm hoping my actions kind of help others get inspired to maybe pick up a project they have not that they've had on the back burner for quite a while that they just don't know how to progress with. Um, Maybe it's about time to start picking something back up and just, I mean, I understand completely since I've had this in my mind for the last decade pretty much. But yeah, so that is pretty much what I wanted to talk about. I guess I'm becoming a writer. Who knew? um, but yeah, all kind of poking fun aside. I want to do this. I want to keep you guys updated, and I hope very much so now that I've gotten this out to the internet, that will help keep my motivation in check. and just keep on working at it until I actually release this book. So yeah, I guess that's all I really have to say on this subject for the time being. I'd appreciate the like, and if you want to follow me on this journey, then I go ahead and subscribe if you enjoyed this like kind of direct talk to a camera kind of thing. I don't even know what I'm trying to say anymore. So yeah, see you guys in the next video.